This is my mobile soldering station, and it solves a very particular problem. Now, I've always been a maker, but I've only been seriously making things for about a year and a half. And ever since then, I've been trying to build up my shop in a way that allows me to focus on the things that I want to do. And that's where my problem arises. My soldering station always ends up on my workbench or my desk. And then I have to fiddle around looking for an outlet that is usually filled up. I needed a solution that takes into account Adam Savage's first order retrievability, which means whenever I need something, it's there. And here's how I did it. So for the longest time, I wasn't sure how I wanted to do this. I was even considering buying a workbench just for this purpose. But as a new maker, there's no limit to the amount of things I need to buy. Then at a thrift store, it hit me. I found basically a brand new Kallax begging to be my next budget build for only $6. So this is the Kallax shape that we're dealing with. And I'm gonna be changing it in certain ways to improve it and make the ultimate budget soldering station. On top, we're gonna add a particle board that is gonna overhang on the front, and that way we can put our legs underneath and get up close and personal. We're gonna add a surge protector, which should allow us to connect multiple things, including the lamps and everything that we need. Additional storage inside. For now, I'm just using some pre-made safe light containers because I'm on a time crunch. But eventually I wanna explore creating my own drawer system with 3D printed parts. On the bottom, you'll see we have these two extended legs. Now, those are gonna be for two reasons, mainly for structural integrity because the Kallax is made out of two thin particle boards that are sandwiching a hexagonal grid that's made out of cardboard, basically. So we need to make sure we have a strong base to screw in all 4 of the caster screws. On top of that, you'll see how it's extended out a little bit. That's gonna help prevent it from tipping. So I think that about covers it. I'm gonna go get some materials and we should be good to start. Now this is a budget build, so I'm gonna do whatever I can to save and we're gonna see how this turns out. So the first thing I had to do was cut the particle board down to size, leaving an overhang on each side. That way I can clamp things on the back and the sides, and in the front I can sit at it like a desk without hitting my knees. Next, I wanted a way to cleanly close off the edges so that they don't chip away over time. So I primed the bare edges, went over them with a wood filler, and once it dried, sanded it all down. As good as it's gonna get, and as good as I need it to be. Then I primed the whole top. Once that dried, I gave it a light sand with 320 grit, so it wouldn't drag when you ran a cloth across it. Turned out pretty nice. The last step was paint. I put 1 coat of black spray paint, let it dry, and then filled in all the thin spots. One tool I really need is a spray gun. Rattle cans can add up fast, and a spray gun would lay down a more consistent coating for a lot less money in the long run, but add it to the list. Now a quick word to our video sponsor, You. I just want to say thanks for watching. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. This channel is not yet monetized at the time of posting, so if you want to support it, subscribing and leaving a comment down below genuinely helps. Now, for those of you who have seen my last video, thank you so much for following along. The response I got was incredible. I've been reading every comment and it genuinely motivates me to keep improving and making more videos. You might have also noticed that this video is very different than my last one. I like making all kinds of things, whether it's a sci-fi prop or a practical build like this one. But if you're just here for the sci-fi, don't worry, I have a few ideas in the pipeline, so I would really appreciate it if you stuck around. All right, back to it. Now, before I could secure the top, I had to finish the legs. So I made some markings for the chamfer that I'm gonna apply to the ends of the legs and disassembled the top of the Kallax to use as a reference to drill the holes to secure these to the bottom. Once I did, I was about to secure them, but then I remembered I missed 2 things. 1, I need to paint the legs, and 2, I need to chamfer the front. And that's when I did something a little inexperienced. I don't have a lot of variety of tools, so I tried to use my circular saw. But there was nothing weighing down my sawhorses, so the piece kept moving on me. It was getting a little late, and I didn't want to wake the neighbors, so I went the old-fashioned way and grabbed a handsaw. I sanded them down, and after a halfway decent job on the chamfers, I took the legs outside and painted them whatever brown I had laying around. While that was drying, I brought the top back inside and used the top of the Kallax to mark out the drilling holes for the hex bolts. The next day, when the legs were dry, I took them back inside and marked out where the casters are gonna go. Once I was satisfied, I drilled some pilot holes to make sure I don't split the wood and installed all 4 of them. Some of the pilot holes made it all the way through, but that's something I'm gonna fix a little later. So finally, I was able to install all the casters, and this was awesome. Seeing it level and rolling around gave me a lot of confidence to continue. I addressed the holes with some wood filler and some paint, and got to installing the top. This was pretty simple. All I had to do was use the 1/4-inch lag screws and some fender washers in the pre-existing holes in the top of the Kallax. And now all that was left was setup, and just in the nick of time. So I have 2 things that have arrived that'll make this a lot better. A power strip and my fume extractor. I chose this one because it was affordable, but also has a HEPA filter, which I was able to find replacements for. And I'll have links for these down in the description. I chose this power strip because it has USB A and C. I'll be able to have some lighting on the desk, as well as charge my phone if I ever need to. All right, let's get this set up. Now, for the longest time, I've been eyeing the Skatis, IKEA's standardized pegboard. Really cool, but also pretty easy to print yourself. But it can also be a little wasteful in my opinion. So I found a lightweight printable version, plus some clamps that attach it to the desk. And that's where the overhang on the side really comes in handy. After a bit of searching, I landed on just the right accessories to hold my desoldering pump, my flux, and my electrical tape. And this was the result. Okay, so after putting on the final touches, I gotta say I am really happy with this. I think this is gonna introduce some efficiencies in my workflow that have been sorely missed. Because now I have a permanent place for my soldering iron, fume extractor, my power tool charging stations, and some of my other frequently used items. And the best part is that I can move this around my shop to accommodate whatever I really need, which is the most important thing for me at this moment. Now, I don't think I would have done anything differently. I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. The only thing that I can think of that could be an improvement is making my own custom shelving. But honestly, I don't have enough stuff yet to fill all these. So I think I'm gonna hold off on that. All in all, this project cost me $6 for the Kallax, $75 for the casters, the 2x4s, the top, and some primer, and a few dollars for the 3D printed parts. Now, I'm not including the cost of the surge protector or the fume extractor because I was gonna buy those anyway. So we are well below budget, and I'm super excited to start using this. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.